Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. I grew up in an era of anti-communist hysteria. We were convinced that communism posed the greatest threat to our democracy. And we're very paranoid about it. We had the communist witch hunts, the Army McCarthy hearings, and the Hollywood blacklist. We were convinced that if we looked under our beds, we would not find a monster, we would find a communist. And we did come at times close to nuclear war with Russia. But we did manage to avoid that through dialogue, communication, and even developed a pretty good relationship with Russia as the years went by until Putin came along. He has become a real threat to democracy here and all over the world. But the biggest threat to our democracy comes from within. Yes, Russia meddled in the election, but part of how they did that was through fake news stories, and a lot of people bought that, and not just the ones who voted for Trump. The Bernie bots were also suckers for the fake news stories. Democracy depends on an educated and informed electorate. And over the years, we have been becoming less informed and more misinformed. This is partially a result of the growth of the extremist right here in the United States. Fox News is the father of fake news. It didn't just start last year with the Russians. Fox News has been lying to people since its inception. And along with them came the right-wing blogosphere, people like Rush Limbaugh and Alex Jones and Breitbart, all of which fill the air with lies. Now, it all began with the anti-tax movement. Somehow, a large number of people have allowed themselves to be convinced that less taxes for the rich makes them better off. The fact is, just the opposite is true. As the rich have accumulated more wealth, everybody else has become worse off. And yet another huge tax break for the rich will be enacted soon by the Republicans and signed by Donald Trump, leaving the rest of us even worse off than we were before. And this is especially true in education. Our public schools, for the most part, struggle to provide a proper education for their students. And higher education is becoming less and less accessible unless you are rich, because neither the states nor the federal government are providing the money that they used to. There was a time when state colleges in almost every state were free. But now they're struggling to stay alive, and they do that by raising their tuition, which makes it harder for people to get an education, which makes it harder for them to have a successful career. And lack of education makes people more susceptible to false propaganda and extremism. It is easier for them to be radicalized, not just by terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS, but also by Rush Limbaugh and Alex Jones and Breitbart and Fox News. In fact, much of the fake news that began on Russian websites was spread by those same outlets, Fox, Limbaugh, Breitbart, and the rest. And it wasn't just the Republicans that bought it. The far left bought it too. The Bernie bots believed everything that the Russian fake news sources had to say about Hillary Clinton. So now we have the extreme right in control of the Congress and the Supreme Court, and an autocrat in the White House who is determined, who has been attacking our Constitution, our courts, the press, all the institutions of democracy from the day he got in there. Yes, Russia did meddle with our elections, but the real threat comes from within. It's we, the people. Thanks for listening.